Hey guys, Buck here, and welcome to the first installment of HowDoEven, where I show you how I even do the things even I try to do even. Yeah. So just to clarify everything, I do work in Photoshop CS6, so pretty much anything of Photoshop, CS, whatever, should be around the same way and all that. So if you're able to translate this to whatever other program you use, that's awesome. But this is for Photoshop. So, yeah. So, we have a little inking here. This is the mark. Little horror monster version of Markiplier, because I'm a fanboy of Markiplier. And so then what I've done already is I've merged all the layers of the inking into one, just to make things easier. I'm going to go ahead and label that Inkins. And then I made a folder for my killers. And this is really important, trying to keep things organized, otherwise you will probably spend over an hour total just trying to find layers and stuff. So it's very important to keep things organized and all that. So let's go ahead and make a couple layers in that, and then let's go back to the folder, and then we want to go to the mask. And see, now this is all white. That means that you can draw, and if you pay attention to what you're doing yourself, with it being white, you can draw wherever you want and it's visible. So what we want to do is to click on the mask square. Let's go with that. And then go here with the paint bucket and make it all black. And then that means you can't see nothing. There's nothing to see. Nothing to see here. Move along. And so what this does is, well, this is basically when you do it with the folder. What this does is it makes it to where when we go through and basically, I like to call it carving, just make the areas of which you want to be colored, just make that into white so that you can see through it, so that we can see these layers. One thing you might want to do to give you a little guidelines to see if you're actually doing it right is to select a layer, go to paint bucket, and select a color. Let's just go with gray, and then we'll go back, make sure that's white. And you could do this a couple different ways, but I do it this way because it's the smoothest looking, and Photoshop tends to have a problem with having this little pixelated look. If you say just try to use your magic wand and go here and then just do all this stuff and then you invert and everything, and then you just kind of fill in the gaps with that. But unless you also go to select and shrink it down so that the marching ants go underneath the lines, and you will still probably run into a few issues every now and then, like trying to like up here it doesn't do it very well and all that with specific sharp corners and all that stuff. So what I do, and this is something I've tried doing recently and I like how it looks because it's more crisp, like chips, is make this black so that you can't see anything in here. Make your brush white, and then you just go in and just do that. It also helps if you put your ink layer above your colors. That might be a good idea. And you don't draw on your ink layer either. That's another good idea. Don't do things on wrong layers. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill this all in, and then we'll get to the next part of the lesson. Okay, so we now have our character masked. Let's go with that. And so this is what I mean by why I do this like this. Okay, so you see nothing? You see nothing. No, you don't see nothing. But oh, look at that. So you can do whatever you want, and it will stay within the lines for you. It's so nice. Makes things nice and clean and pretty. Okay, so, now you don't have to, when it comes to coloring itself, to do the masking thing. The masking thing actually helps out with partially coloring and with the shading and other stuff, because I don't do, at least not anymore, I don't do the whole cell shading thing anymore. What I do is more of a painting type coloring, or lighting effect or something like that. So, but essentially now what we're going to do is we're going to do essentially the same process for every single different part of this character that's going to be a different color. So the suit's going to be a layer that's masked, the hands are going to be a layer that's masked, the ich on his shoulders is going to be a layer that's masked, as well as his skin and stuff like that. So it's a repeated process, and this is the more time-consuming part of it, but I think is actually all worth it. And so when we come back, we'll have this whole thing colorized and layerified and mastified and all that jazz. So here we go. And so there you have it. We now have a folder for each little segment that's going to be colored. Got the haar, we got the skin, and within the skin, since we have a bunch of different things within the coloring area of the skin, we put folders into the skin folder of the different things, like the eye blurs and the teeth and the stash. And then, so the one thing that's always nice is that if you start from the most top, let's just go with thing, like the one thing that's on the most top is the hair. So we start with the hair and we filled that in, and then we went with the skin and we filled that in, and then we went with the necklace thing and we filled that in. Once we start getting to like the suit and all that stuff, actually I should have put those inside of this layer. Sometimes I forget to do my own things, so hold on. Need to reorganize things. This is why it's actually a good idea to do this whole layering thing, because if you see a mistake, you can quickly fix it. And see, now all I have to do is just go like that, and there. And so then the suit, it's all organized and fixed. And then got the hands. I guess the hands would be, since they stick out further, they're closer to you, they would be the most top one. But when it comes to where things are, as in like for coloring, the hair would probably, it's a hair and the hands are probably would be the most top ones. But this is one of the reasons why we don't do that for things that are closer to you, as opposed to what would be on the most top of your layering. Because got all that problem, I would have had to go along the lines of all that, but I can just do that. And it's all nice and clean, because we already made the silhouette with the suit. And then the tentacles on the back are the easiest, because they have all this little cropping going on with all the layers that are on top of it. So all we have to do is just make a big blob and fill that in. And so then, and it's all in one folder. You got it all labeled, and then it's always best to go in and label each of these layers that you have the colors, either what color you want. Just have a layer, a name for it that you can decipher means it's the bottom layer of your folder. So, because we are going to put several layers on top of these colors. But that's actually going to be for the next, I wanted to say episode, but I don't think that quite qualifies. Let's just go with next video. So in the next video, I will show some highlighting, well, not highlighting, some lighting practices that I do, and some things that will make this really start to stand out more as a piece with lining, but also has that painting feel as well. So, with all that, thank you very much for withstanding this, my very first tutorial video, and hopefully you enjoyed that. If you did enjoy it, let me know in the comment section. That's always nice. Leave a like so that I know you like it. That's what the likes are for. Just do whatever you do at the end of videos that you enjoy or don't enjoy. Just do what you do, like you do. And I will see you guys next time.